EA Sports College Football 25 is real, and it is coming out this summer, specifically on July 19th, 2024, with 3 different editions of the game, which we will dive into those details and everything else that you need to know about EA Sports College Football 25 in today's video. If you like, hit that thumbs up, comment below with your thoughts on EA Sports College Football 25, and let me know what team you're going to use for your first Dynasty series on your own save. So let's dive into some of the information that we currently know officially from the game via their website on ea.com. So you can see this alongside me here. We're going to go through the 4 game modes that they detail with a brief synopsis. So let's start out with, I think, what a lot of people are excited about, which is, again, college football Dynasty. Within Dynasty, you'll be able to create a coach, build a powerhouse college football program from the ground up, establish your coaching staff, recruit the best talent, utilize the transfer portal, and watch your program ascend to the sports pantheon. So really good, exciting things in there. Wasn't a lot of details and information, but some new things that we're excited to see. You will be able to create and build your own coach. I'm hoping that they have the options of you still being able to be an offensive or defensive coordinator, and then, you know, eventually take a job as a head coach somewhere if you choose to. It'll be really fun to do a coach career in that way. But you will be able to establish your coaching staff. So I'm wondering if that means you'll have a lot of say and options in terms of the coaching carousel every single year, and trying to figure out who will fit your style of football for your team that you want to build, of course, to be a championship program. Recruiting the best talent. Of course, I've heard recruiting this year is going to be massive change and overhaul and more detail than it's ever been. The transfer portal is in the game. That is massive. It was a must, especially with the way college football is today with the NIL and everything. Having the transfer portal in EA Sports College Football 25 is going to be a huge game changer. I'm really excited to see how it works, and I hope it's really fleshed out, and I hope it causes some chaos, of course, with, you know, guys that you thought would be a starter for you the next year decide all of a sudden up and leave because of some NIL money that got thrown their way from another program, or potentially, you know, different spots as well. So that's really exciting to see there for Dynasty. Now moving on to the right, you see Road to Glory. Again, one of the best and most, you know, one of the modes that I think we've been missing, that Madden hasn't done a great job with, in my opinion, and I hope Road to Glory, I hope they stick it here. So here's what they have to say. You live the life of a student athlete with a creative player and take home the Heisman as you build up an unforgettable college football legacy. Manage your weekly schedule, GPA, and your image to earn coach trust to get more playing time, or use the transfer portal to get the time and the glory you deserve. So again, interesting things here. Looks like you will be able to have a weekly schedule. It's something we have seen in the past college footballs, where you can kind of decide what you're going to do throughout your week, whether that be training, studies, whatever it may be. So you got to worry about your GPA, your image. You know, the NIL seems to be a part of this game. I think that's what I've heard from some Mike Straw details and information, which we're going to get into here as well in this video. And then, just like the old Road to Glories, you will be earning coach trust through practice, through games and experience, to get more playing time, to move from that second or third string all the way up to the starter role and keep your job. If things don't go well, good thing is you get the transfer. No longer we have to MacGyver away through NCAA 14 to find a way to transfer. You will be able to just out the chute transfer anytime you want, to be able to go to a school that gives you the better opportunity. So that's really exciting news there. Now, here's the thing. They will be having Ultimate Team for this game, and I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. I'm hoping it's not going to take over like it did for Madden and take away from all the development and everything they needed for the career mode and for their franchise mode. So we're going to see, it says here, for Ultimate Team, build your dream team of college football stars and legends. Play solo challenges or head-to-head seasons and take on the toughest contests. Test your roster and skills in formats like College Football Ultimate Team Champs and Champs Gauntlet. Nothing more is mentioned there. Other than that, we'll dive into some of the pre-order bonuses you can get with various editions, and that gives some different things for you for that Ultimate Team. So Ultimate Team's here. jury's out. We'll see if it's good, if it's going to take away from the development of the other modes. I hope it's secondary. I hope it stays secondary, even though of course it's going to bring in tons of money with the microtransactions. And then of course the last piece here is Road to the College Football Playoff. Experience a new way to play competitively and represent your favorite team in Road to College Football Playoff. Climb the pole by upsetting the toughest opponents and make it to the playoff and vie for the national championship. So this seems to be an online competitive mode where you'll basically take your team and try to get into the college football playoff and win the college football playoff. I'm not sure exactly what the format for that's going to work like. I'm assuming they're going to move to the 12-team format and whatnot, but I'm excited to see, or an 8-team format, whatever it is. But I'm excited to see what that looks like in game, and hopefully we get more information on the Road to the College Football Playoff mode very, very soon. So let's now dive into some notes that came from a stream from Mike Straw, of course, of Sports Media. He's a really good gaming sports journalist that covers a lot of things year to year. And here's some information compiled into a Reddit post. We're just going to go dive into all these details and, see what I think about it, and I want you to comment below and let me know what you think about all this stuff. He had to really just kind of be, painting broad strokes here. He couldn't dive into the little minute details. So let's just get into it. He said this from his stream. So option offenses will receive a ton of attention, which will have new animations, tons of efficiency and speed. He says it could potentially be overpowered. So no surprise there. College football is a sped up version of NFL. NFL is a lot slowed down, still have a lot of pro style offenses and spread offenses and stuff, of course, that is making its way into the NFL. But with RPO and option offenses being so prevalent in college football, of course, they had to have tons of attention for that for the playbooks. Animations are going to be different. The speed and all that stuff is going to be different. So really excited to see that they're focusing heavy on that for this year's game. They also say that you will notice when you use a 2-star player against a 5-star player, 5-star players apparently feel different. So this is interesting. So this is basically, think of Madden when you have a 99 overall Patrick Mahomes and then you're out there trying to play with like a rookie quarterback or a backup quarterback that's like a 70 overall. You dramatically see the difference and feel the difference just from the throwing accuracy, pocket presence, all that kind of stuff. So they're saying that's going to be more prevalent in this year's game for college football. You're going to be able to tell the difference between a 2 and a 5-star player on how they feel, how they play. And I'm sure that's going to lead to, your realistic blowouts. And maybe occasionally, if you just have a really good game plan and your players play above, maybe you can pull off a major upset like App State seems to do year to year, right? So really intrigued to see how that works with 5 and 2-star players. The difference, I'm really curious to see how different they feel and play, whether they have different animations or if they're just going to overpower, overspeed. It's going to be a curious thing to see, but I'm excited to see if there is going to be a difference. Wear and tear matters a ton more in longer games, and you'll be able to tell by how he plays if a player isn't receiving proper rest. So again, with college football, it's a speedier game, of course, a lot of snaps, sped up game. And there's a lot of rotations in college football where you have certain lineup formations with certain substitutions and all that kind of stuff. And if you keep a player in for maybe too many snaps, you're going to be able to see that wear and tear, especially in longer games. The start of the game, stamina is going to be good, speed's going to be good, players are going to be playing at their highest level. As you get through the gauntlet of a 4-quarter, think of an SEC football game, you can tell the team that's more disciplined, that's got better stamina, strength, and conditioning, or maybe the team that's just managed their substitutions and rotations better, and that wear and tear is going to be something to pay attention to in long games. And that sounds like they're moving towards more of a simulation style gameplay, which is great. They're not leaning in on kind of some of the weird arcadey stuff that they've done in the past with Madden. So I'm excited to see that there's going to be wear and tear. I just hope it's not overpowered, and I don't want players to be completely wiped out in stamina quickly. I want it to be something that is fine-tuned and balanced very, very well. Moving next, we see Online Dynasty will not be crossplay in this year's game. So it's something they want to do in the future. Not completely surprised by that. I'm happy to know Online Dynasty will be a feature in the game by this sentence here. but I'm not surprised in the slightest that we will not have crossplay for it this year. So something to look forward to in the future, I suppose. Next up, we got gameplay, and the Core Dynasty experience was a big focus for this year's game. Again, music to my ears. It's my favorite game mode in any sports game, bar none. So the fact that Dynasty has been kind of the forefront, that is just exactly what I think the audience wants to hear. It's what the long-term fans want to hear. They're trying to make sure they get the gameplay and the Dynasty experience right from the onset with this first game back in the franchise, of course. Mascot mode is not likely to be in this year's game. That I'm not losing any sleep over that. I know some people really like the mascot mode, but it's something I played once or twice as a gimmick. You know, it's kind of fun, but not something I see myself coming back to. So the fact that that's not being developed into the game, that's fine. Use that manpower and those hours for things that matter, like Road to Glory, or of course Dynasty mode. Moving on to some other feature news, Madden and College Football 25 will be on the same engine, no surprise there, but the devs have said they want to make College Football 25 feel a lot different than Madden. They're saying College Football 25 will play faster than Madden. Again, not surprising, just because college football in general is a speedier pace, and with the playbooks and the flow of the game, it's just a lot quicker. So all of that's good to see. I'm not surprised that the engine's the same. It just makes sense, especially if they're going to be carrying over draft classes and all that kind of stuff. You want the games to be similar enough to whenever you decide to pick up Madden, if you do, you're going to be able to have a similar type of experience. It's not going to be like a completely brand new engine and game. So none of that's surprising to me, but I am happy to see that they are trying to make sure college football plays different, looks a little bit different with different animations. So that's something to look at here. There's going to be a ton of new animations for College Football 25, plenty of new catch animations as well. Again, no big surprise there. With the rules being different in college football, you know, in the NFL, you have to have 2 feet in for a catch. College football, you just got to have 1 foot in. So that's going to, of course, lean to having more animation variances. That's going to lead to the 1 foot animations. So that's something new to look at, with plenty of new catch animations in this year's game. Now, this next detail is a little bit surprising, and it states that it's possible that helmets could get knocked off. So this is not new, of course, to many football games. We've seen helmets get knocked off with major impacts and things of that nature. And of course, with college football and even the NFL, today's game, you know, there's a times where helmets do get knocked off, whether that be a hand to the face mask lifts the helmet off, things like that. I could see potentially added into the college football game, and it's intriguing to see that here, because obviously they're not answering to I don't think they're answering to the NCAA in this area, such as Madden. They can't have helmets getting knocked off because the NFL oversees everything that goes into the Madden game, and they have certain things that they basically do not allow to have in Madden, such as helmets can't be knocked off. Every stadium venue, no matter how bad or good a team is, has to be completely filled out. So, you know, I'm hoping that means in college football, you can have players getting their helmets knocked off. You can have stadiums where you have a team that is miserable having, you know, instead of a sellout every single game, you have, you know, a sparse kind of spread out small attendance and things like that. So I'm hoping we see those features in this, because it's not going to be as strict with the rules that you can and cannot have, since it's not answering to like the NFL or something like that, right? Now, it does state, this is kind of a bummer, it is not a full ESPN license, just the broadcasters of Kirk and Chris. So there's no ESPN Scorebug, no College Game Day, all that kind of stuff. And again, for a lot of people, that may be a game breaker for simulation, just for like the immersion of the game. For me, I think they can make up for that license, and they'll have their own Scorebug. They still have the broadcasters. I'm sure they're going to have different presentation elements that will make up for the lack of College Game Day and stuff like that. As it says here towards the bottom, College Game Day was not really in the game. There will be a pre-show, however, but it's not game day. So again, they're going to make up for those elements in their presentation. Yeah, it would be nice to be able to see the ESPN Scorebug and the branding and all that stuff for replays and animations and whatnot, but I think if they do it right and they work hard on it, they can make up for the lack of that you know, package and license and presentation. Moving on, the easier schools will be easy to play against if you're a bigger school, even on harder difficulties. Example, if you have Michigan versus Buffalo, you're going to have a clear-cut advantage, clearly. So nothing surprising there. That goes back to what we talked about with the 2 and 5 stars. If you're a powerhouse school, it's going to be easy to play. It's going to be a ton easier to play easier schools. If you're a 2-star school, you're going to have to play your tail off and play almost perfectly and exploit mismatches and whatnot to be able to beat that big powerhouse school. And I'm glad we gotta have that element and feel to make it true to what college football is actually like, where you have these massive mismatches all the time in non-conference and sometimes even in conference play. Now, they are saying there's no mode in College Football 25 like the Yard from Madden, which is of course an arcadey superstar kind of mode. I'm not missing that at all, so that is fine for me. Y'all let me know what you think about the lack of that mode in this year's game. He also iterates that the game will not be bare bones, excuse me. He says it's going to be a foundation building game, so that's great news with this being the first game back in the NCAA football series. They're not just going to cut corners and just put something out there for the sake of making money. It is a foundation building game. They wanted to have it be full featured, not bare bones, something to build upon as the foundation going forward. So it's really, really exciting. They're saying Dynasty and a Road to Glory will have a ton of replay value. Not surprising, no shocker there. It has to have it and it needs to have it. So I guess that's good. Check that off. That's excellent to see. They said there's a lot of effort into how off-season works in Dynasty, which is not surprising. Of course, with coaching carousels, that's going to be a big component. With NIL and transfer portals, I have a feeling that's going to be a whole lot more complex and detailed now. The recruiting and all that during the off season is going to be crazy as well. So there's a lot of elements. You know, the whole season's one thing, but a lot of people love college football for the craziness of the off season. And I think they're going to make that something really, really big in this year's game. They're also stating that no BCS option for Dynasty. It's only going to be playoffs, and that's not surprising. They've been rid of the BCS option for years now. They're leaning in heavily on the playoff. They've just expanded the playoff for this next year. So I think that should have gone without any surprise, really. Don't expect BCS. It's going to be playoffs only. And let's just make that really, really good and really dynamic. So I think that's going to be fun to see. And last couple pieces here of this stream. Actually, we got a whole lot more to go through. So let's just go through some of these a little bit quicker here. They're saying in Road to Glory this year, it's about becoming a huge star, and NIL will play a role in the Road to Glory. Now, they don't specifically say if NIL is going to play a role in your Dynasty, but I would be surprised if it didn't. I would think that would need to be something that plays into the transfer portal, but I like seeing that that's part of Road to Glory confirmed here. Custom playbooks will return. No shocker there. Recruiting is deeper and better than ever. Team Builder is basic, but will be enough for people to play, and Team Builder will be coming out before the game releases. So if you are a Team Builder fan, you will have that tool set available to you before the game releases sometime in, I believe, early July, where you'll be able to work with Team Builder for some time before the game releases. There's going to be more detailed substitutions in this year's game. There's going to be a ton of different equipment compared to what you saw with Madden. And again, this goes back to the regulations that NFL puts on Madden, where they don't allow all these custom, where they have the back, whatever, the back pad and stuff, all that kind of things available, the different sock lengths and all that kind of stuff. You're going to get that kind of different equipment here with college football, because really they don't have a lot of rules and limits on those things. So it's really exciting to see how you can really just deck out your team in whatever equipment around. Think of the Yard. I'm expecting that to be similar to what you could do for your superstar in the Yard. I would expect that to be similar to what we've seen here in College Football 25. Now, for the crowd, this is an area I think they got to get right. The crowd, the ambiance, everything you have with a college football game, you have to get your crowd right. And they're saying there's many different crowd reactions for this year's game. Full gameplay we are expecting to see early June. So here in the next week or two, we should be seeing some gameplay. hopefully sooner rather than later. They said there will, since there's no EA or since there's no ESPN licensing, there will be a different score ticker on the bottom of the screen, not the top. So I'll be at the bottom of the screen. And this year's game is a first true gen, current gen college football or football game period from EA. It's ground up current gen, no prior gen. So Xbox One, PlayStation 4, not happening. It is only going to be Xbox Series consoles and PS5. PC will be coming with future releases, which for me that reads as it will not be for this year's game. Expect that for 26 and beyond. And last note here is blocking gameplay looked good, which is a good thing to see, because sometimes blocking animations and AI and whatnot can be a little janky in these games. So some really good information here that came from Mike Straw, and I'm expecting more coming very soon. So let's finish this up. Let's talk about the pre-orders and what editions you can get and expect. So what we have here to start is the standard edition. It comes with the base game, your alma mater ultimate team pack, which you can choose one player out of 134. Cover athlete ultimate team pack, choose one player item out of 3, and a bring glory home ultimate team uniform item as well. I believe that's going to be in at $69.99. So that's going to be that edition. Now, next you have the deluxe edition. It gives you the game, 3 days early access, 4,600 college football points, which will be used for Ultimate Team, and all the same other things as well as the Heisman Hopeful pack for Ultimate Team. So that one going to be a little bit more expensive, I believe. They're ringing that one up at, I believe, $99. And then lastly, the big one is the MVP bundle. This will give you the deluxe edition of EA Sports College Football 25, 3 days early access from July 16th to 18th. Everything else we just talked about, and you get the deluxe edition for Madden 25, 3 days early access for Madden 25, which comes out in August, so about a month later. And you get 4,600 Madden points, Ultimate Team packs galore, and a legendary XP boost and superstar drip gear as well. So really, if you plan on getting Madden and college football this year, the MVP bundle is probably going to be the biggest thing you can go for. Plus you get the early access and all the Ultimate Team stuff. So lots of great stuff coming for EA Sports College Football. It's coming out very soon this summer in July, and we have loads of information coming here in the coming weeks as well, which we will keep covered here for you on the channel. So leave your feedback below and let me know what team you're going to be using this year in Dynasty mode for your first save in your first series. And keep it tuned here for more. We'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.